The right to offend is not some pesky little part of freedom of speech that we have to put up with. It is the heart and soul and lungs of freedom of speech. It is the coursing lifeblood of human progress. It is the instigator of liberty and modernity and science and understanding. What a laughing stock today's student leaders are, that they can so casually dismiss the right to be offensive without realizing that their lovely, enlightened lives are the gift of individuals who gave offense. Offensiveness is not just something we have to begrudgingly accept. Offensiveness is the motor of human progress.
Alrighty, well, welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. So happy to be back from vacation. I'm your host, live from sunny South Florida, here in the evening, of course, for the Whitfield Report. And I want to thank Max and Morpheus and Maxine for filling in last week. And thanks to the audience for stopping by to support the show, even in my absence. It means a lot to me, and really appreciate it, folks. How are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing pretty good tonight, sir. Glad you enjoyed your vacation. Show last week was pretty damn fun with Max and Maxine, but we're glad to be back to the normal three.
Yeah. So I guess a few things actually happened while I was gone. In Michigan. For those who don't know, I was in Michigan for the first time in 5 years, and I gotta go on a little bit of a Sam rant here.
Hashtag Sam rant.
Instead of a Mort rant this week, we might get a Mort rant depending on what's going on. Also, more. I'm very proud of you. You did not harass good brother Craig, at all while I was on vacation. I'm very proud of you for.
Yeah, sometimes Greg can escape my wrath, and last week happened to be it.
Well, good, because I was on vacation, and Craig is such a good guy.
Somebody order a pizza
most of the time. Oh, nice. Yeah, Max with the homemade pizza. Very nice. I wish my pizza place were open. That would have been nice to order a pie. But no, as I was about to tell more, I have a Sam rant this week, Max.
Oh, God. When's the last time we got one of those?
So, as most people know, I was in Michigan last week for a family reunion, and the reunion went well. This was my first time flying in 5 years, and overall the experience was actually pretty good. Minus, two things. One, I got sick on the flight back, so I've kind of been under the weather. That's kind of a beef, but not much you can do about that.
That's not good, Sammy.
The second thing that I'm kind of bummed out about, not rather than bummed out about, but more or less kind of pissed off about, is something that the airports can control.
Uh-oh.
And specifically, I'm pretty pissed with the TSA right now, which,
Shocker.
you
Were
know,
you mistreated at all, Sam, by the TSA? That never happens.
I know,
Did the TSA use your wheelchair, Sammy?
No, but you're not that far. You're not that far. You're not that far off, more.
If you try and smuggle with your wheelchair, okay, they're gonna be very interested in it.
Okay, well,
You should stop being a high-level drug smuggler, Sam.
you know what? I wish it were that interesting. I wish that I could have an excuse to be that much of an interesting item for the TSA, but unfortunately, it's even lamer than that. Okay, so the last time I traveled, anywhere was in 2019.
So before COVID.
Yeah, before COVID. And that was, again, to see my grandmother in Michigan, who, that was my last time seeing her because earlier this year she passed, and I was going to her memorial service. Now, on the way out to Michigan, I had no problem getting through TSA on the way there.
So from Florida TSA was fine to you. That's important,
Yeah.
I think. That's an important detail.
So that's a very important detail. It's also worth noting that, like I said, I haven't really been traveling or really anywhere outside the state, since 2019. So on the way back through Detroit, I got stopped because turns out my state ID was expired.
Oh no.
And so,
Oh no. They must have given you a hard fucking time for something so minor, bro. In Detroit? Oh my god. What's the airport out there? It's right by the Joe Louis, right? Or what used to be the Joe Louis, I should say. Yeah, that ain't the airport you want to get kept at.
Yeah, no, I basically got the sir, are you aware? Like, I didn't even get the sir, are you aware? I got, sir, why is your state ID expired? And I explained, like,
and you're like, because it's past the date on it? The fuck? What kind of stupid question is that, officer? No, go ahead.
No, well, and I was like, oh shoot, like I didn't realize it was expired because it's one of those things, like I never take it out of my wallet anyway, so like I haven't checked it.
You're not a huge bar guy. You don't smoke. So where do you get carded?
Yeah, like the guys who sell beer to me, like they already know like who I am, so like I never get carded anywhere to begin with, right? So I basically said, like, look, honest mistake, I'm sorry, can you please let me through? Nope. They kept me in line for 30 minutes. Not just that though. They let not one but but two other guys through the line who didn't even have IDs. Why? Because they forgot their driver's licenses at home and were apparently friends.
So you should have just forgot it at home. Is what you're saying? by
moral of the story: forget your fucking ID.
Yeah, by doing the right thing, even if there's a lapse. First of all, a state ID should not expire. It's not a driver's license. It's a state ID, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
That's a scam.
Yeah. Thank you.
They just want more money every so many years.
Well,
Yeah.
like
It's just free money for the state, and then you got to go. Because I get it. If it's a driver's license, they're testing to see, okay, can you still drive or whatever, right? Do you still live in the same place? What are they testing for you? Do you still live? Are you alive? Yes? Okay, pay us money.
Are you allowed to still vote? Pay us money.
well
There's a lot of states you wouldn't need that ID to vote in.
I know. That's why I'm saying it.
And ironically, mine's one of them, even though it's not supposed to be, because I've never been carded when voting, ever. But you're supposed to.
Yeah, I think I've been carded once.
They're supposed to card everyone in Massachusetts. It's the law. I've never seen them card anybody.
yeah. So basically, and like I said, it's not necessarily the fact that they like kept me in line that pisses me off. It's the fact that they allowed like two other people with who didn't even have like. I at least like
if you had been slightly less responsible, you'd have gotten rewarded. It's what you're mad about.
Yeah, and then like my mom's, because she had like TSA pre, so she went through and she's like, where, and I'm like trying to text her. I'm like, they're holding me up because. Oh, and then like even after they let me through, I had to wait like another 10 minutes because they didn't have a guy to do the manual wheelchair pat down. I'm like, you guys are kidding me. Like, you could have had someone like verify my details, because like that's what they had to do. They had to like verify that even though my ID was expired, it's still like not a counterfeit. I get all that, but like, you guys could have been more efficient with that, and B, like,
government workers efficient. What?
Well, you're damn right they could be more efficient, because all it takes is to run the number on the top of it.
Yeah. Yeah, they could have had the guy who ran that also do like the physical pat down on
There you go.
But
so you were fond of that guy patting you down, huh?
Well,
making connections.
Well, listen, I'm not. They're not gonna let an attractive female pat me down. So
it should be an attractive male at least, right? You don't want an ugly guy.
No,
ugly
they're not.
Guy.
They're not even going to do that. They're going to do like the Weasley, kind of like
maybe pedo guy.
Yeah, well, more. I see you smile. I can hear you smiling, but you try going through airport security in New York, Mr. Base Triple Man, and see what happens.
Fuck no.
Yeah, see what happens to you.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
I'm pretty sure, because I opted out of the new Massachusetts license, that I am no longer. I can't fly. Actually, I'm not kidding.
Well, that's okay, Max, because here's another.
I just refused to do the national ID thing, and they let you do that in Massachusetts. You can opt out of it, and I did. But if I don't have the new one with the new fucking little thing on it, I'm not allowed to fly.
So wait, they have like a new national ID thing that
I don't know about how it works with any other states, man. I just know about Massachusetts and the national ID program. We can opt out of it. I did, but because I did so, I can't use my Massachusetts non-national ID at an airport. It's not valid.
that's fucking creepy.
Definitely.
I'm willing to bet that because it's like that my state is far from alone in this, and you might be more surprised at how many states are like that than you think.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, all we need is, you know,
I believe
nothing.
35 or 36 states have signed on to this national ID already. It's not just mine.
Yeah,
Right.
well,
If your state,
yeah, well,
if your state hasn't yet, right, you can still fly with the old ID. But if your state has switched over, you need to get the new ID.
yeah, well, nothing says Big Brother like a national ID.
fucking IDs.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, it was one of them Biden administration ideas.
Imagine that.
Oh yeah, so in regards to that, so
And actually, I just got the idea from my Mort rant this week.
Oh, boy.
what's here? We're in a rant zone already, so why not have a more rant? By the way, hello to Chibi and Rowan Dip for popping in.
Also, shout out. You're gonna like this, Sam. Shout out to Shackalicious XL gummies. Yes, they are shaped like Shaquille O'Neal's head.
That's hilarious.
Based?
They're large. As gummies go,
That's what she said.
they're fairly girthy.
That's
Guys
what,
like to see what a Shaq gummy looks like. These things are crazy. Look at this. That's it right there. Let me see if I can.
That's awesome.
It's just a little fucking. It's just a little. It looks nothing like Shaq. I know, like the resolution on this camera doesn't do it. It looks nothing like Shaquille O'Neal. If anything, it looks like what do you call it? When the guys used to do the minstrel show. It looks
Jesus Christ!
From a minstrel show, like
It's horrible.
seriously. Like, look at how the fucking face is. It doesn't look like Shaq at all. It looks like a fucking horrible funhouse face or some
Horrible caricature.
Not that it would be better to eat like exact replicas of Shaquille O'Neal's face. I don't know.
yeah, well,
I just had to
speaking of,
share my Shaquille O'Neal gummies with you, Sam.
well, speaking of things that you know, that Shaq might be interested in, today's sponsor, folks. I've always wanted to do an ad read for these guys, but our friends at Birch Gold Group, we recently had some monumental news that no one's talking about. For the first time ever, the interest the U.S. pays on its debt surpassed every individual budget item except Social Security. That's right. The U.S. now spends more on interest than on national defense or even Medicare. And it's only getting worse as big government continues to spend recklessly. That's why savvy Americans are turning into gold, something not tied to the inflated dollar. You too, you can too with the help of Birch Gold Group. For over 20 years, Birch Gold has helped tens of thousands of Americans protect their retirement savings by converting an IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold. To learn more, go to birchgold.com/rumble and get a free, no obligation info kit on diversifying your retirement into a gold IRA. Birch Gold has earned an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and thousands of happy customers. Protect your IRA or 401k. Go to birchgold.com/rumble to get your free info kit on gold today. And I have now officially
That's how
joined
you do an ad.
the Ben Shapiro.
You might want that gold, considering the way the economy's been going these days. Jeez.
Yeah,
Can
yeah.
I get a loaf of bread that'll be like 2 bars of gold, please?
Yeah, with the way inflation is going. Also, Max, you'll be happy to know that, like, so some of my family actually, I actually did learn at the reunion that, like, some of the family does listen to the podcast,
No, nice.
and they feel bad for you because they don't think they think that you walk everywhere because, like, you don't have a mode of transportation.
No. That's not it at all. No, I am doing it for my health to lose weight. Yeah.
No. That's what I told them.
Actually, when I did the 200 miles a couple weeks ago to go back and forth from the hospital when my wife was in there, they totaled over 200 miles in a very short time. It's not that I didn't have rides. You know what I mean? It's that I was literally rejecting them.
Oh, damn. Yeah.
Yeah. I am out there, you know, and I've been digging more into it. You know, Sam, I mentioned I might want to, you know, get back into the ring, which means I need a training regimen, right? And I've been looking, and all this fancy modern shit don't do it for me. Let's talk about this in the Gilded earlier today. I don't like they're all about weight training. I'm here to cut weight, right? I don't like, they're like strength training. I'm like, I'm cutting weight. I'm already bulky enough, bro. I'm already strong enough too. No, like seriously, Sam, at a certain point in fighting, muscle is just extra weight that makes you slow. Did you know that? Because I sure do.
Oh yeah.
People think that, you know, there's a reason that professional wrestlers have big biceps and professional boxers don't. Right. And it's because one's a real fight and the other's a show.
Right.
So for a show, you need show muscles. And for a real fight, you need real fightability.
Yeah.
Yeah. In boxing, carrying a lot of excess fucking weight and muscle is considered like the worst thing. So I don't want to do all these weight training MMA gyms because, quite frankly, the weight training stuff is a successful strategy for small guys that need to gain weight. Right. So what am I looking at?
But you're not a small guy, so
yeah, I'm a big guy that needs to cut weight. And so I'm like, all right, well, what do big guys that need to cut weight do? Well, I looked into George Foreman's training regimen. Like, I just went through old boxers and went and looked at their training regimen. You know why? Because fuck all this new modern shit. It's like, it's so dumb. I'm not gonna sit there on a little elliptical. Fucking Muhammad Ali, Rocky Marciano. And particularly, actually, I've mostly modeled it after Marvelous Marvin in his whole routine because he's from here, right? And so he would do his road work. They call it road work. That's what I'm doing is road work, Sam. That's what it's called in like boxing.
Yeah.
And they would do road work year round, right? In this area, which means in the snow, just like I do. And so I was like, well, if I'm already that far down. Because they would do a 5 mile in the morning. I'm up to doing 10 miles now. Right. So I'm golden on that. And then the rest of it is like, you know, gym work. But not the way people do it today. So I'm actually looking into going down to Brockton and talking to the the Pescarelli Brothers gym, which is where Marciano and Marvelous Marvin both trained.
Oh, nice.
Not to get off on a fucking tangent about my health struggles, but you mentioned it. Yes, I am running by choice everywhere.
Yeah. No, because a few of my family members were like, we were like close Max, but like we saw the thing where he was walking everywhere, and I'm like, I'm explaining, I'm like, no, he likes that. Like, well, is he a sadist? Well, yes. Maybe, but
yes,
but because he kind of has to.
Not in a sexual sense. I believe the term is masochist too, but yeah,
yeah.
A sadist is liking others to get hurt. No, I'm. No, it's not that I like it either. It's part of, like, struggle is part of the solution. I guess is the way I look at it.
Well, and also, like, I mean. You don't seem to mind it. You're just like,
Dude, I hurt myself. I was talking about this in Gilded earlier. So my ankle, every once in a while, I get like a tendon issue. Okay. And now I know why it is. It's because I got new shoes. I was all excited about that. I forgot to get new inserts. That's my bad. And so like I kind of hurt my ankle this week, right? And now I need to get inserts. And so I can't really do my runs, right? And so today I'm looking out the window like a hungry dog looking at a fucking steak that he can't get to, right? Like I need to be out there running, not in here. And it drives me crazy. It makes me sad. It makes me restless. And I don't like it at all. But you know, you got to take care of yourself.
yeah.
So I'm not reckless and stupid. Most of the time.
No. But
Sometimes.
Overall, I guess my extended family likes the show, and so
I
that
appreciate the concern on their part.
Nice
though.
to hear.
and so that's great. And by the way, shout out to all the Michiganders in the audience. Now here's one thing.
Do I get honorary status? I lived in downtown Detroit for a year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You Al, at that point, you get more
Plus, I'm
Michigan.
kind of like a staple of the old, Detroit hip hop scene, so that's got to count for
Yeah.
something.
You survived Detroit for a year.
Oh, wow.
That's
All my friends were gangbangers. That's the secret, right? Then you don't have to worry about gangbangers.
Yeah, you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about getting shot by the gangbangers if all your friends are gangbangers in the first place.
Right. Especially if you befriend all the ops.
Yeah.
Right? So they're like, hey, fuck your gang. And they're like, hey, fuck your gang. And they're like, yeah, but both leave Whitey alone though. We like him. That's how you do it. And yes, they did call me Whitey, but what do you want, right? It was like the one white guy they knew.
Yeah, that's just perfect.
Yeah, and you're like, whatever, it doesn't bother me.
Well, you got to remember, Sam, at the time, I didn't have like the long-haired, bearded guy look, so I was just generic white dude. So I was Whitey.
Now they would probably think you're even cooler or something with the whole.
Oh yeah, I still talk to some of the dudes.
Well, you know what?
That are alive and not in jail.
Well, you know what? You've got more street cred than Kamala does, and that's.
By the way, shout out to Ray Ray and his family. He died last year.
Rest in peace.
Oh, geez. Rest in peace, Ray Ray.
Yeah, Ray down on what was it, West 7 Mile in Gradson? That dude was the fucking shit, bro.
Well,
anyway.
Like I was saying, you've got more street cred than Kamala Harris does.
That's a low, but you have more street cred than Kamala Harris does. Let's be real.
Well, yeah. Well,
you cripple guys have more street cred than Kamala.
Well, okay. Well, this does bring up an interesting thing, though, because
Kurt Doolittle has more street cred than Kamala Harris. All right, like let's.
Okay. Well, we've established that we all have more street cred than Kamala Harris. This does bring up an interesting point, though, which is at the reunion, because I'm a political podcast, like people think I'm the de facto political guy in the family, and to a certain extent I am. So there were a few people who I don't know, like, unfortunately I can't like really separate myself from these people because they're family members, but like I do have a few people who are Harris supporters, but it's only because it's not even because they like her, it's because they're default Democrats, and so they think they need to. But here's the fascinating thing, Max. They're against all the trans stuff, specifically in regards to like kids and whatnot, and they somehow think that like because Kamala hasn't said anything about that, like she's also against the trans thing. And
No.
like that, like the face you're doing right now was like my and I even shoved like a cracker or something in my mouth and was just like nodding, like. But see, like this is
She's not going to trans any kids. Don't worry, guys. That's literally not one of the most important things to her.
Well, okay, so this is like one of the fascinating things, Max, is like I was like, so like, how do we reach out to those people? Because like I feel like they could be convinced to like vote for Trump if
I wish we could actually show them Kamala's platform. Oh wait, she doesn't have one.
Well, that's the other thing too. Is so like instead of like attacking them, like I was like, okay, that's interesting. Do you have you actually heard her say anything about like trans kids, or like what's her platform on that? Well, she hasn't said anything specific.
So they're basically of the Bill Maher mindset, then, right? That liberal is fine, but the trans kids stuff might have gone too far. That's basically I'm summarizing.
Specifically in regards to that, they absolutely have the Bill Maher mindset, and as far as that goes,
I'm willing to bet he's probably going to discuss that.
What I would say though is like Bill Maher, say what you will about him, at least he's educated on like what's going on in the political realm.
He's consistent at cost to himself sometimes.
Yeah, a lot of my family members though, who are just default libs, they're not really paying attention to any of the political issues. They're out there, and they like the idea of Kamala because she's a woman and she's a person of color. Thing that fascinates me though is that like you ask them
Can I ask why that matters?
Why does that matter?
A lot of them are guilty white.
Gotcha.
A lot of them are guilty white women.
But it's interesting, right? Because that matters. That's the first thing you pointed out, was that matters to them. And it's like, okay, but what if that person is literally the least competent, least qualified person for the job? Doesn't matter. They're a woman of color. She's objectively the least qualified person for the job.
Yeah, I didn't even bring that up though.
Don't argue with them. It's not even worth you trying to convince them. It'll just cause drama at a family event and stuff.
Well, what I did do though, and this was the fascinating thing, I asked them, okay, what are her policy positions that you like? Give me one. Give me one. Oh, well, and so like, and I love when this happens because
without saying anything about Donald Trump, tell me what you like about Kamala.
Without saying anything about Trump,
but Trump.
Yeah, and so
because she could be running against anybody, right? And she would have to have something you could say to why you would vote for her, right? If she was running against just anybody. If you notice too, if you take Trump off the table, they literally don't have anything because they can't, because she doesn't have a policy on anything yet.
No,
she's running away from doing. I'm telling you, Sam, they're trying to pull a 2020 again. They're hiding her. I don't know if you saw it today, but the World Health Organization is trying to get us to lock down for fucking monkeypox.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Here's a pro tip, guys. Don't touch poop. You won't get monkeypox. That's it. Literally.
I saw that. I saw that like 2 weeks. I saw that not 1 but 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, seriously, we're back to this again.
Well, I think locking down over monkeypox is homophobic. because it's generally affecting their community. I don't think it's real right to do that to them and single them out like that.
You did that joke way better than Melody Mac did. Sorry, Mort, not sorry.
I agree. Again, sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, but no, when it was fascinating.
Well, kudos to whoever wrote the joke for her. I just came up with what I said on the spot.
It was kind of fascinating.
I'm not saying she's fake. I'm just saying she has writers.
Well, probably. But no,
we're the writers on the show, so you blame us.
Exactly. If you don't like something on the show, it's one of our faults.
It was fascinating to see kind of the gears turn in my relatives' heads, and once if you ask, you don't even have to debate them. If you just ask, like, what do you like about Kamala Harris, that's substantive, and they can't answer, then, like, you know, instead of attacking them, like, invite them to look up her policies, and then, like, maybe...
Because us looking them up and then showing them doesn't work.
Yeah, maybe... See, my whole thing is, like, trying to get people to reevaluate, like, things. And, like, yeah, maybe you might not like Trump on, like, a personal level, but at least, like, he has policy things that, like, I can say.
Here's the thing. A lot of people just refuse to accept. If you are offered two solutions to this problem of who you're going to pick for president, and you don't like either of them, you don't have to vote for either one.
Right. Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at too. Like, I would rather have people just not vote rather than vote.
Look, if you're a Kamala person and you don't know anything about policies, take a look at RFK Jr. See if you like, because he actually has policies. I don't like all his policies, but he has them.
No policies.
Yeah, you can point to them specifically and say, this is what he's going to do on this. This is what he'll do on that. And in most cases, his policy positions have been consistent. The only one that's not is guns, and that's why never trust a Kennedy. But they're leftists, so they love Kennedys, right? They're on the left. They love fucking Kennedys.
Not RFK Jr. because he's too right wing for them, which is a really weird.
Which is laughable because he's to the left of Kamala.
I know, but see, like
he's way to the left of Kamala, actually.
Right?
Yeah, I know, but this is the Main Street. This is the global media.
No, I know he's the black sheep Kennedy, so that's fine. But I'm just saying, like, that would be a good. Don't tell them, hey, well, if you can't come up with anything for Kamala, maybe you should just vote for Trump, because they're not going to do that, right? But if you point out, hey, you know, you don't have to vote for either one. Like if you just think
you can write somebody random in if you want. Yeah,
or not vote at all. Like the majority doesn't vote.
Right.
If you included people who didn't vote as
technically, if you ask me, if you include me, I didn't vote until 2020.
Right, and that's the vast majority. If you included everybody in the country who doesn't vote and could, and you counted that as a political party, it wins every election by a landslide.
Every single damn time.
So
it's not even close. I did not vote wins every fucking election by a landslide.
So more. I actually have to ask you a question. So you said you did not vote in 2020.
No, I voted in 2020. Didn't vote in 2016.
Okay.
Did you ever vote prior to that?
The first two elections after I turned 18.
Okay, so like the Bush Kerry.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Why did you not vote Trump in 2016? I'm not like scolding
because
you.
I was completely uninterested in politics. Didn't know enough, so I didn't vote. Wasn't informed enough. Didn't feel like I was informed enough.
Didn't feel like it was worth your time. It sounds.
Right.
Which, I mean, there's something to be said for that.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. And see, like that's where a lot of my relatives who are kind of like just default Kamala people right now. That's where they really seem to be. It's not actually that they like her; it's that they think that they're obligated.
And they go further into that to the point where a couple of people in my family during 2020 were afraid I vote.
Yeah, I mean, I look, and like I've said, I don't think Trump is like perfect, but as far as like policy, as far as like policy goes, yeah, he is pretty much perfect. But like we're talking like
his personality is a defect.
Yeah, but I mean, as
his personality is why he's there, though.
Right. So the man's grown on me since, obviously.
Well,
the thing is his personality is the double-edged sword. It's what people love about him, but it's what people hate about him too. And also, if he wasn't like that, he wouldn't have developed the people that care about him.
Agreed.
So it's tough to be Trump, admittedly, because he's gonna turn off, particularly the unipartyists, right? The neocons, the Bush people. They immediately fucking hated his guts because they could see they
were taking his fucking money before he ran.
If y'all don't remember the 2008 immigration debate, I do. And what did they do? They all agreed to, open up the fucking border, and the Republicans were cool with that. It was a McCain plan, right? Open up the border as much as possible, outsource as many jobs as possible. This was the Bush administration's fucking policy. So you can talk about Democrats till you're blue in the face, but the Bush administration let a shit ton of illegals in here intentionally. So, Trump's obviously on the opposite side of that, talking about how immigration affected regular people. And guess what happened? The first time a politician on the national stage in 40 years discussed this topic frankly, he became the most popular candidate for a major party. Why? Well, because, dude, I've had my job taken by immigrants. I've also had a job outsourced to China. Why the fuck would I? Of course I'm going to like the guy talking about, hey, we don't want those illegals replacing you at your job. Hey, we don't want to send you. The reason I am where I am today is because they sent my job to China. I had to figure shit out on my own after that. I had to go get a new job, right? Then it was a bunch of shitty. I had a really good job. Then it's a bunch of shitty jobs, And so, that vibed with me and a lot of other people who's had their jobs. I know. They took our jobs. They literally took my job, bro.
Okay. So you bring up the other contingent of my family that showed up to the reunion, which is, hey, I used to think that Trump was just some loudmouth billionaire, but you know what? Sam's right. He actually was good for the economy, and he actually does.
Shout out to the smartest part of your family, by the way.
Thank you.
I mean, that's part of what brought me on board in 2020 is I literally saw my community change for the positive during Trump's run.
I got this place I live under Trump. Like, I was never doing in our entire lives as a couple. We'd never been doing as good as we were prior to 2020. And now, oh my God, are we struggling?
Yeah. And listen,
I went from the greatest 4-year period of our adult lives to the worst.
And listen, like people, the thing out north of Michigan, where my family is from, there are a lot of maybe not necessarily conservative people in northern Michigan, but like Trumpy,
but working class Trumpians. Mm-hmm. You know why?
Yeah.
Because it's not Ann Arbor, so everywhere outside of there is going to be working class, blue collar. Yeah, there'll be some Dems and a lot more Trump people.
Well, it's where a lot of manufacturing is too, and like those are all the jobs that Biden wants to send overseas, and like Kamala.
The problem with the voting blocks, and I hate to interrupt, but like it's literally the middle class and working class, right, that go kind of Trump or Republican, and then the upper classes and the absolute bottom class, right, the welfare class and below, are going to go for a Democrat. And I don't think that's going to change unless we like extremely change how this country is made up, or I don't think that's ever going to change.
Yeah.
Sad.
Point being though is that like I think states like Michigan are going to go for Trump this time.
I think Michigan and Pennsylvania are very likely.
Even like my third cousin, sorry to interrupt more, one of my third cousins even said that like Detroit possibly could go for Trump, which like I kind of have to raise my eyebrow.
Okay, I haven't been down Detroit in a while, okay, but I do know a lot of people there, and so like my feeling on that is he's gonna do well among young black men compared to previous election cycles. But he's not going to take Michigan. He's not going to take Detroit, right? There's no way he's going to take Detroit, but he could take like 30% of black youth, which would be enough to win Michigan, actually.
And that's what this guy was saying, was that like, look, Trump's popularity among young black men, particularly after getting shot, is like at an all-time
shot
high.
and charged with a felony that they could see was bullshit. That's relatable to a lot of young black men. Whether you think that's not a fair worldview or whatever, they feel very related to that, like that could be them. I mean, it makes him like them in a way.
I mean, in my world, in my viewpoint, the fact that there are even people like still considering Kamala at all after the assassination attempt is a little bit mind-boggling to me. Like, just be honest. Why are we even like still discussing?
Well, because they have to.
Yeah.
Right. And
Trump man bad.
And well, not only that, but they have to run a campaign, right? They can't just not do anything. And so I get that part of it, of why they're gonna run. And you notice one of their main strategies has been burying the assassination attempt.
Yeah.
They know. They're not stupid. Yeah. They're well aware of how that looked. They're well aware of the optics of it. So what did they do? They declared it to be fake. And there are people on the left now that will tell you that it's fake. Not, he got hit by a glass, not a bullet. They'll just say the whole thing was staged and fake. And then the mainstream Democrats are just going to forget that it ever happened because the MSNBC is not going to talk about it. Not anymore. They're done. They all made the decision. We're moving on. We're never going to talk about it again.
Yeah.
Which tells you what they're fucking scared of.
Well, so that brings me to another interesting point, which is
real quick before you go on to another tangent. One quick bit of advice for Trump in a debate: make sure you bring the assassination attempt up and make Harris confirm that it actually happened and that it was actually a bullet, just like the FBI said.
Yes.
Now go ahead, Sam. Sorry about that.
Please do that. Also, pro tip to anyone out there, because I did run into a few. Anytime someone brings up January 6th, bring up July 13th.
July 13th and May 29, 2020?
Yeah, well,
I just ask him what that is.
Right, I agree.
Like, I don't bring anything up. I'm like, what are you talking about, J6? And they're like, January 6th. I'm like, I don't know. I'm January 6th. What was I doing January 6th? I don't remember. Why is that a significant date?
We now have our own J13.
Yeah, I know. I anytime someone says J6, I'm just like J13, and with a big
shit-eating ring.
Yeah, because like they'll automatically try and change topics because they know. Look, even the people who try and claim that J6 was a thing, they know it's a nothing burger in comparison to a literal assassination, an attempt.
Yeah.
Which we still have no answers from the Secret Service in regards.
We're never gonna get any.
official story even.
We're
No,
never getting one.
No, I know. I just like to point that out.
Maybe in 30 years they'll admit that they were all a part of it, like they've done in other things. I mean, look. Everything I've seen about, dude, the Secret Service was on that kid like white on rice long before he got on that building. Something fucked up happened that day, and I am of the fucking opinion that the Secret Service was negligent on purpose. I wasn't that. When I talked to Andrew a couple weeks ago, I wasn't convinced of that, but I've seen much more evidence since then that has convinced me that there was intentional, malicious negligence at that Trump rally. Did they know that this kid was going to try and shoot him? I don't think so. But it's still that malicious kind of apathy, like, oh my God, I have to be here. Oh God, we got to watch this weird kid. Oh, he's probably not going to do anything. That's what I think was the mentality. But that to me is as good as being a part of the attempt. Your job is to protect this man, period.
Yeah.
Not to like him, not to love him, not to worship the ground he walks on, just to keep him safe. You failed.
Yeah, there were a lot of Secret Service people who did not.
By the grace of God, is he still alive? Literally.
Yeah, and another man isn't. A good man. So
look, I honestly do think that Trump is still going to win the election.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think that Republicans need to get out there and vote in person.
And not assume we're going to win. This is what I've been getting at. Like, this assumption we're going to win is going to lead you to fucking to laziness. If you are in a position to and have the time to go and try and figure out how to fucking drum up some votes, you could do ballot access initiatives, all kinds of things. That there are things you personally can do, but you don't have to. But don't just assume. We assumed in 2020, didn't we? And they stole it.
And that is my big pet peeve with the Republicans right now, is that a lot of them.
How about the Ilhan Omar primary? Did you see this? It went from 0% reporting to 100% reporting, while everybody else's didn't do that. Magically, she wins. Who would have thunk?
Not suspicious at all.
No. Freest and fairest election in history since the last one that we stole.
Yeah, well...
yeah, this is where I'm going to step in with the Mart rant here.
There's going to be some ballot fortification, boys and girls.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying everyone should show up in person. So...
But if Mort rant jumps off of this, by all means, sir, I'm ready.
I'm done ranting.
Absolutely,
I'm done ranting.
Rolls into this.
So
the fucking Pennsylvania Department of State fucking Twitter account last week put out a really motherfucking stupid goddamn tweet. It's like, we're gonna piss in your fucking face, tell you it's raining, and steal the fucking election again.
Of course,
because they basically flat out said we're not gonna fucking count and finish our fucking count the night of the goddamn fucking election.
Which, by the way, I looked into this because we talked about that on the show before. So I'd mentioned before, it's the first time in modern history in 2020 that the election wasn't decided in one night. I went back as far as I could. The previous time it took that long didn't exist. Okay, it's so elections by fucking candlelight and horse-drawn carriage were decided.
Finish that fucking night.
Not the same night, but usually within 2 or 3 days because they have to mail the fucking things.
But with our fucking technology, we should be able to get every fucking one of the 50 goddamn states done in a single fucking night.
Which we always have. We always have since at the very least, the second election of
always have
FDR.
until fucking 2020.
The second election of FDR, so during World War II, up until 2020, we did the entire election counting in one night, every single election, including midterms. This is 2020 is the only time in modern history that the election was not decided in one day. They're going to do that to us again, and then we're going to be like, oh, this is so sus. Well, we watched them do it. They're telling you they're going to do it. You know what I mean?
And
I'm trying to get
we'll get the ballot watchers
the
out
exact
there.
wording.
That worked so well last time with them kicking them all out, right? Just kick the poll watchers out. That's what they're gonna do.
And again, this leads me back to my whole rant about the TSA, because they're saying that I need a valid ID to fly. Yet, I actually was tempted. I didn't bring this up because I didn't want to get harassed by TSA further. But I was almost tempted to bring up the fact that, well, I don't need an ID to vote, so why do I need an ID
Not
to
in
fly?
Michigan. Not in Michigan, yeah. No, you definitely don't need one in Michigan.
So yeah, so if I don't need an ID to vote in Michigan, why do I need a?
They'll just say it's a federal policy, but yeah.
I mean, supposedly this is the same administration that thinks that voter ID is racist, and yet they were freaking out because I had an expired.
Yeah, man. Voter ID is racist. You know what else is racist? Carding people for alcohol. We shouldn't do that. You know what else is racist? Carding people for cigarettes. We shouldn't do that either. You know what else is racist? Carding people for anything ever. Because clearly black people are just incapable of getting identification for any purpose.
Yeah. I mean, that if we're gonna go by that logic, then let's just do it with ID in general.
Yeah, who needs ID if it's gonna be like? Would you rather have a society where we can identify the perpetrator of a crime and track a little bit of things like that, or would you rather be racist?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm white, so like I'm automatically racist because
right. And so the answer to your racism is to abolish ID forever for everybody.
Well,
hey, speaking of ID, did you see this, Sam? The Social Security Administration got hacked in every single Social Security number and physical address along with it of every American citizen today was leaked on the dark web.
Oh, fuck.
Gee, they stole all the Social Security numbers a couple months before an election, Sam. I wonder why that might happen. And all the physical addresses and names to go with it. What a coincidence.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, that's really reassuring.
Make sure you double check your votes, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm double checking to make sure my bank accounts and everything are safe and secure.
Yeah, Biden, what are you going to do about all of our fucking leaked Social Security information and doxes?
That probably means that my medical information is doxed too.
Well, right now, to be fair, it's up on sale on the dark web. I'm sure the Democratic Party will buy it soon.
that's really reassuring to know that like my fucking Medicaid information and everything is just fucking out there. So
Hey man, jokes on the fucking the scammers, right? Because most of our generation doesn't have any money to steal and their credit's bad. Looks like the boomers are in a lot of trouble with this one, huh, boys?
yeah,
They have
oh
credit
boy.
and like money and stuff. Not us. Oh no.
So that was
Millennials are allergic to money, Sam.
today that it got stolen, right?
At least
Well,
today is when I saw it. It might have happened previous.
Well, because last week, right before I left, one of the wheelchair vendors that I had worked with in the past, not the one I'm working with now, was trying to get this one, but the one who did my power chair, they said that their entire database got hacked.
Oh, they got the hover around treatment.
So
the hover around treatment, by the way, Sam, is when these wheelchair vendors, right, actually try and help people like yourself get a wheelchair, so that the government gets so pissed at them that they file federal charges and things and raid their offices and until they go out of business. That's the hover around treatment.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then they label these people as a scam too. But tell that to all the people they help get wheelchairs, you know?
Yeah.
Sorry. Just I stand that the hover around company did nothing wrong and was persecuted by the government, and I think more people need to know that. The reason that they were persecuted is because they were helping people through the Medicaid red tape to get a wheelchair when they needed one. That was his sin.
Yeah, I agree with that.
They called it harassment that he would call them to make sure they're still working on the case. They said that was criminal Medicaid fraud or harassment like that. And then you saw what happened to the hover around company. It was like on TV commercials every fucking day and then gone, and that guy's in jail. That's why. Yeah. Because they helped too many people actually cash in on the insurance that's supposed to help them. God forbid somebody should do that.
Of course.
Yeah. God forbid Medicaid pay for an actual wheelchair, but we can spend $50,000 on a transgender. Sir,
they're sure that he is a she. They're not sure that you're going to continue to need a wheelchair.
I've just said that the wheelchair is part of my transition now.
That's right. Sam is transitioning into an Abrams tank, ladies and gentlemen. If you didn't know this, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to out you on the air like that, Sam.
No, it's fine. I'm proud of the fact that I'm becoming a human tank. Like I'm embracing it. Tank pride.
Sammy, I just put in the Twitter DMs what their tweet was for PA State Department.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so pretty sure I'll be joining more as like a part tank man, or I guess. What do you identify as? More or
I identify as a badass in a motherfucking wheelchair.
But okay, you can't do that anymore because like next time you need a new
badass is a little harsh, all right? It's a little masculine, a little toxic, okay? Motherfucking. Well, why not fatherfucking? What are you, sexist? And in a wheelchair? Well, why don't you think about all those people who aren't in wheelchairs, okay, Morpheus?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Because I'm straight, Sam.
I do the leftist harping like too good sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. This is pretty stupid. Let me pull this up.
And that's exactly why that rant had to happen.
Okay, so for those who are wondering what Moore is ranting about, I will actually show the people what Moore is ranting about. Okay. So this comes from the Pennsylvania Department of State. And I quote, Pennsylvanians won't always know the final results of all races on election night. Any changes
Any changes in results that occur after election night are not evidence that an election is rigged. We're gonna rig it, guys, but you can't say that it's rigged. All right, back to you, Pennsylvanians.
Yeah, get ready for
We're going to piss in your mouth and fucking tell you it's raining.
yeah, get ready for a bunch of YouTube bans again, which you know, I know that Susan passed.
Jeez, Sam, that YouTube allergy's acting up again.
And yeah, I know that Susan's dead, and I know I should feel sorry, but I don't.
It's so sad. Like, she only had 8 boosters. If she'd have gotten the 9th one, I swear she wouldn't have gotten turbo cancer.
Well, you know, how
many boosters you do, Sam?
0.
Oh. Well, then you're never gonna evolve into a superhuman.
Well, I hang out with you and more, so I'm already a superhuman podcaster. No, actually, you know, the real superhuman among us is actually Maxine. So, because she's got superhuman mom's strength. So, by the way, I enjoyed her filling in, being you, well, you were me last week. So that
I don't think anybody was you. I think it was just pure chaos. That's what made it good, though. I'll tell you, we had a lot of fun with Mort on the ladies podcast, the true crime stuff. That was a good one. And now they're gonna do another one apparently, and they want you. We had a talk. Though. Like the one thing we don't, if we do true crime stuff, there's gonna be like we don't want to focus on like horrific child murder stuff, you know, because like it's just a bummer for everybody. Unfortunately, that was like the one my wife picked, but it's also a case I'm kind of close to. So, yeah. We're trying to not be, you know, a gruesome, gory details fest. We'll see. Really like true crime though. That was fun.
I actually do have a true crime case that's kind of you know, old Hollywood ish. So that should be fun.
Yeah, they're not doing it. They're not doing it this week though, because 2 true crime ones back to back. That's not really their style.
No, and for the first time in a long time, they don't have a show actually planned. So
I don't know if that's true or not. So
well, they didn't at the end of last episode. I'm sure they'll have an episode planned.
That's why I'm saying it's Wednesday. They probably do. I'm just unaware of it. I usually get told. Well, probably tomorrow. Probably tomorrow.
But no, you guys did a great job filling in. And also, I saw that you guys even did ad reads last week, or an ad read. So
well, yeah, I think they did 3. And well, we did 1 on the show last week. I think it was just the 1775 coffee, if I'm not mistaken, specifically just because that's the one Mersh does.
Yeah,
and you can't get approved for it, and it's so easy. That's the easiest one.
Hey, that's one that like gives me that always gives us all out like a good payout though too. So you know, but like also that's cool because I believe you use OBS, right, for your.
Yeah, what I've been doing actually for the ladies now is I pipe my OBS into Rumble Studio so we can still do the ad reads.
So there is a way to do that then. Okay, I thought,
not to be too technical for our audience, but I use OBS as the virtual cam on here anyway. Like right now, right? I could do all kinds of crazy stuff. Like I could turn myself into blackness or put I don't know, like a picture up or something, right? And I can all do that pretty easily. So I was like, well, I obviously just need to pipe in my audio. Now I did have to set up a virtual cable. It took me a little bit, but I got it done. It came out pretty good.
Oh, by the way,
and the audience didn't even necessarily notice the difference, which is the key.
Oh, by the way, speaking of
although they would have noticed the ad reads being a new thing, I guess.
I dug your Hulk Hogan layout that you did for the show last week. So Jesse Ventura, I guess, endorsed Kamala and specifically endorsed Tim Walz.
And a lot of people are confused by this because they think Jesse Ventura is like Alex Jones in that he's a right-wing conspiracy guy. There's a couple misconceptions there I'll get to, but I just wanted to point that out. People are shocked that Jesse Ventura would A, endorse Kamala, and then B, endorse Tim Walz, who is a governor just like he was.
I'm not, but
yeah, I'm not.
But you want to know the most hilarious thing. See, people think that Trump has an ego, right? But do you know why Jesse Ventura likes Tim Walz so much? You probably do, but like more. Do you know why Jesse Ventura
Mort's been in and out, so he's not here at the moment.
Okay. Do you know why Jesse Ventura likes Tim Walz so much, Max?
I'm not sure specifically what you're gonna say.
Okay. Because, and I quote, Tim Walz, fuck it, I can't do Jesse Ventura's voice. Tim Walz called me on his first day in office for advice, and that really impressed me that he would think to call me and actually seek my advice.
Jesse, the conspiracy theory guy, is quite happy with a governor who will order police to shoot at civilians with paintballs to honor a lockdown. Jesse Ventura supports that. Jesse Ventura supports burning down Minneapolis. Oh, who was the governor when that happened? Oh, right. The guy he loves. No, Jesse Ventura's problem, for those of you that aren't familiar with Mr. Ventura's why he would do this, and you think he did the conspiracy theory show. He was friends with Alex Jones. He's never been a right-winger. He's always been a left libertarian. And he hates Trump. And he is officially, in my mind, patient zero of Trump derangement syndrome. Because this goes back into a little bit of my history, I guess. But the Reform Party. Let's set the scene, Sam. The year is 1999. The election, nobody gives a fuck about. George Bush, Al Gore, Nobody cares. Everybody's like, whatever. Some of them like one, some of them like the other, but for the most part, the majority of the country was kind of apathetic. And that's where a new party was formed. A party based on reforming things to fix them back to maybe 1980. This was called the Reform Party. One of the biggest bankrollers of the Reform Party was one Donald J. Trump, as well as Pat Buchanan and some other somewhat well-known conservative figures, and Jesse Ventura. Now, the party was kind of they're kind of like libertarians, where they would be like, the Republicans are right about this, but the Democrats are right about that kind of thing, which, fine, there's nothing wrong with that. Trump decided, for a couple of reasons, that he didn't want to be part of a small-time party and trying to build it to national prominence, because he realized very quickly, A, he had to completely build the infrastructure from the ground up to do that. Libertarian Party still hasn't done that in 45 years or 50 years or whatever. So Trump was like, look, I'm out of here. And also, he disagreed about some things with Pat Buchanan based on the media misrepresenting Pat Buchanan. You can look into that stuff yourself. But the point being is that Trump, moneybags of the Reform Party, and Pat Buchanan, and basically every other notable person not named Jesse Ventura left the Reform Party. Jesse Ventura has held a grudge against Donald Trump since 2000. He has been obsessed with Donald Trump since the year 2000. Don't believe me? Go look up Jesse Ventura talking about him. He endorsed Hillary. He endorsed Joe Biden. Are you surprised that he's a leftist? Why are people surprised he's a leftist? I don't understand.
I'm not surprised at all, and I'm still here. I just had to turn my mic off for a sec. No, yeah, one of the reasons why I should point this out too. One of the reasons why Jesse Ventura and Charlie Sheen were friends with Alex Jones for so long wasn't because they were truthers necessarily. It was only because Bush was a Republican and they were anti-Bush, as Alex Jones found out the hard way.
Say, with Jesse, I think it's more than that. Okay, in Jesse's case, it's about the attention. It really is. It always had. Look, he's a pro wrestler, right? And I'm sorry. Look, I know our audience really likes pro wrestling. I do too. But if one thing you know about pro wrestlers, you have to necessarily have an extremely oversized ego.
Oh, yeah.
And Jesse's got the biggest one in the business. And that includes Hulk Hogan, by the way. At least Hulk Hogan has something to stand on. Jesse Ventura was not actually as well-received a wrestler as he'd like you to believe. Much more well-received as a commentator, actually, than as a wrestler.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But it is about his ego. And the other thing that I think has been lost, Sam, is now that we have the Blue Anons, right? People are suddenly realizing, oh, wow, the left has conspiracy theorists. Yeah, and 10 years ago, all of them, left or right, conspiracy theorist type people interested in that thing, would all be watching Alex Jones, actually. Yeah, lefty conspiracy theorists used to love Alex Jones, and it wasn't just because it was fuck Bush. That was a huge part of it. But it was other things, right? They would talk about the JFK assassination. Lefty conspiracy theorists love to talk about that one. And I'm not saying that even to demean them. Like, that's one of their big conspiracy theories on the left. They have a lot of them, right? Now we're at a point where the conspiracy theory type people have diverged so greatly in what kind of conspiracies they believe in. They're no longer going to fall all under watching Alex Jones's bandwagon anymore. But there was a time in the 2000s when they did. And that is when a lot of right-wing people started to think Jesse Ventura was one of them. Then he did the conspiracy theory show, and they thought even more. But if you look at the conspiracy theory show, every single conspiracy theory he's talking about comes from the left. They all come from the left. Every single one of them. Or from, like the other one is he said that gang stalking is real, which, I mean, if you want any credibility, shut the fuck up with the voice to skull technology, Jesse. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're not.
That's jumping the shark.
Somebody tug
Even
in
for
more.
a show called Conspiracy Theory, that was jumping the shark.
So, somebody tried to take Mort out. Soon as I was done with the Mort rant, went down.
That's right, but you're still here for now.
Right? Dodge that bullet.
No one can take down the Mort man.
I don't know, man. If you're running for president right now, right? And you look at a couple of areas, rappers who endorse. Well, we got Megan the Butt Stallion and what is it? Cardi Double D and all them on the Kamala side. And then on the Trump side, it's 50 Cent, Kid Rock. So you go into wrestlers, right? On the one side, you go, oh my God, it's Jesse the Body Ventura. But what's on the other side?
All over AEW.
Terry Bollea.
Oh God, you just made me want to switch sides, Mort. Fuck AEW. How do you say all of AEW though? The most woke motherfuckers in pro wrestling are all in AEW.
That's why I said they all like Kamala.
Oh, they do. Oh, okay, I thought you said they, because I know there's some right wing people, like Jericho's kind of a MAGA guy, I guess.
Right.
But then there's some like
most of the AEW are all Kamala.
yeah, and they don't like Jericho anymore because they found that out. Oh shit. No, but yeah, I was gonna say Hulk Hogan, right? Like you got Jesse Ventura. Okay, yeah, that's big. Yeah, but if you're talking '80s wrestlers, I mean, does Jesse? Here's a question: 1980s wrestlers. Does Jesse Ventura make your top 10?
No.
You guys might. Sam would be too young to even answer the question. No offense, Sam. But you weren't around to watch 80s wrestling. Mort,
Towards the bottom, but yeah.
in your top 10?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
I
obviously
personally liked it.
Yeah, I guess 10. He might go in 10. You're right. No, he might go towards the bottom of 10.
9 or 10. That's about it.
If you say top 5 though, he's not even on, because you got Macho Man, you got Andre the Giant, you got Roddy Piper, you got Jimmy Snuka, you got Hulk Hogan, you got Adrian Adonis, oh my God, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. That's
Rocky
7 right
Maivia.
there. The Iron Sheik, fucking King Kong Bundy, I would put above Jesse Ventura. So we're already at 8.
Yeah, like I said, like 9 or 10, but that no higher.
Oh wait, no, that was 9. I put King Kong Bundy at 9, right? Jesse
Yeah.
Body Ventura is not number 10 because Superstar Billy Graham is.
All right, you got me there.
And by the way, I'm only counting WWF people because if I opened it up to Crockett Promotions, NWA, WCW, Ric Flair's in there.
No way in hell he clears.
Yeah, it's not even. He's not even in the top 20 at that point.
Jesse Ventura, in my mind, always seemed like more of a movie star than. Well, he seems more like
And
The
in
Rock.
one fucking movie, bro. Like one good movie.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Everything about him is overrated. You think of him as a movie star, right?
Yeah.
He's
Well,
been in one movie.
yeah. Well, he's like The Rock in that sense, where he's more famous outside. Although, to be fair,
No, he's more
The Rock
famous in
was
wrestling.
famous.
Yeah, he's more famous in wrestling than out of it, Jesse Ventura, for sure.
Yeah.
You'd have to explain that he was in Predator to most people. Right? Most people don't know that because they don't know who he is because they're not wrestling fans. And he was only in one movie, so they wouldn't know him. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's interesting because every normie I know is like, hey, that's the guy from Predator. Really? He was in pro wrestling? Anyway, I must know.
I
some more.
don't think. Yeah, but they can't even. They're not even really recognizing him. That's what I mean. That's the guy that I saw in that one scene in that one movie 50 years ago. That's not
fair point. So
that's not knowing him. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's because in pro wrestling makes these guys
facial recognition, not necessarily knowing him.
No, pro wrestling outsizes its own world, right? Like, did you as a wrestling fan ever have a moment when you realize most people don't give a fuck about it at all? Not even to tell you it's fake or that it's dumb or that they just like, yeah, I don't care. I'm not into that.
Yeah.
And it's like every wrestling fan will have that awakening that, oh, we're a minority. And so in wrestling, these guys that seem like legends, most of them outside of wrestling aren't known to fucking anybody. Unless their name is Hulk Hogan or The Rock or Stone Cold Steve Austin sometimes.
I had that awakening with comic books too. Like before the MCU before the Marvel Cinematic Universe really took off, most people did not care. Most people did not. It wasn't even that they didn't know anything more. It was most people did not care about comic book movies. Comic book movies were seen as like basically kids movies,
kid shit or nerd shit.
Well, and comic books themselves as well, right? They were seen as throwaway, shitty kids entertainment.
Well, like now you see couples going on dates to Marvel movies, but like even when I was a teenager, like you wouldn't have been caught dead taking a date to a superhero movie. That just wasn't a thing. Like,
now all the hobbies are fucking invaded.
Yep. By the way,
that's because the left doesn't build; it just takes.
Yeah,
we built and destroys.
Yeah, we built it all, and they were like, "Ooh, hey, we could fuck this shit up."
Yeah.
And then they did. And to some degree, it's funny to say, y'all let them. That's what I say to the Gamergaters. Like, yeah, they're because like, I got nothing against the Gamergate crowd, right? But a lot of them are like, it's almost like Hank Hill saying how he scored the game-winning touchdown in high school.
Yep.
That's you, Gamergator.
Yeah.
Okay? Because guess what happened after you won so hard against journalism? They still took over the entire game journalism industry from top to bottom. And most of gaming itself. So what did you actually accomplish with Gamergate? Nothing. Nothing.
Yeah, you're not.
If I was
I'm going to have Gamergaters all mad at me, but it's true.
If I was around for Gamergate 1, I'd be fucking embarrassed.
Yeah, well, and then there are guys I know that were, and they're not resting on those laurels. Right. I am Batman on Twitter's an original Gamergator, and I think Craig is too. And what are they doing? Well, they're actually doing something. They run the fucking.
They're actually fighting.
SBI Detected Group. They're pointing stuff out. They're working with Grums, bringing stories to light. So, like, they get a pass because they're doing shit. But hey, Gamergate in 2014.
Well,
you lost. You all lost.
Well, the most important thing that Craig and
speaking of Grums, he's our source for a lot of the times for Bits and Bones on Thursdays, which is not coming. There is no episode tomorrow.
Yeah, Mark's a good dude. I like Mark.
The most important thing that Craig is doing though is keeping me entertained every week, along with that fake guy Dan and the other guy whose name I can't remember.
Who's another fake guy?
Evan and no, I remembered Evan because Evan is that fake guy Dan.
Yeah.
But the other guy, they keep me entertained every week on the Fake Untitled podcast.
I'm gonna clip this out just so he can see you call him the other guy.
So, there's that third guy.
The other guy.
So, and
Which guy on this show is the other guy?
usually I'm the other guy on my own show.
Well, no, actually, unfortunately, I think it's Mort because like Sam and Max is a meme,
Yeah.
I would agree.
and he says less. So I guess he would be other guy. Who's the other guy on Bits and Bones though? I don't think you have one. No.
That would be. You got me and Core, and Tim would be the other guy because he's not there all the time.
Yeah.
Fair enough, but when he is, he's not really other guy.
Well,
I don't know.
agree. I'm just saying he's de facto other guy because he's not always there.
Yeah. Tim is the other guy, and then I think Penn would kind of be the other girl on the.
I don't know because she talks a lot. I say with all due respect. Oh my God! Shut up, Sam. Let's talk about something else.
Well, yeah. Well,
No, I don't think the women have an other guy.
Max in trouble over here.
No. The ladies don't have an other guy because they all talk a lot.
Well,
They try and keep it equal, and it somehow works. It's kind of,
yeah.
I don't know, man. They do this thing called show prep, Sam. I didn't even know what the fuck that is. We've been doing this for years. What's this voodoo? Preparing your show in advance. What the fuck? Who does that?
We subscribe to the Bill O'Reilly philosophy of fuck it, we'll do it live.
That's right.
So,
You have no idea, audience, how many times we have no idea what we're talking about. We all get in here for a few minutes before we go live, and we don't really answer that question, and we're like, all right, we're going.
well, usually,
Actually,
You probably do know how often that happens if you listen to the show regularly enough.
I do have to give props to the ladies. My experience was, although a little bit nerve wracking because of what I chose as far as my topic. The show was fun as hell.
No, I think they liked your topic actually, so that was good. Certainly not the easiest thing to talk about. And hey, if people want to know what it was, you can always check out the Sandwich Makers. And the great thing about their podcast, Sam, that I do have to point out is unlike us, they're not talking about current events pretty much ever. So,
well, they didn't, and to be fair, they didn't start a podcast based off of covering, you know.
that was like off the table for them actually.
Right, but
Like not to give too much inside info, but they are purposely going for a no politics format.
yeah, no, and
Yeah,
that's good for them.
Mhm.
If I ever start a secondary podcast, hint, which I might in a sec, which I might, down the road, politics probably wouldn't be off the table because I already have this one. But here's a little insight. After 16 years of doing politics, it's kind of hard to do show prep in advance, partially because the news changes so much.
Day of, right?
Yeah,
That Social
hour of.
Security thing, I just saw it like an hour before we went on the air.
Yeah. Yeah, and
But also, it's a grind of saying the same shit. I mean, like our audience knows, we've been avoiding politics like the last year a lot of the time, just because it's like, do we want to say the same thing 30,000 other like grifters are saying? No.
Absolutely
Like you could get, if you want the basic bitch conservative ink, type takes, right? You get those. Twitter and YouTube will shove them down your fucking throat. Rumble even, right? If you want Dan Bongino's take, you can get it. No disrespect to him. It's just like that's not the kind of take we give.
no, I will say though,
normie takes.
Yeah, that's it. Is we're so fucking normie on politics compared to a lot of people today. I think that's what makes the show special, to be honest.
Oh, I agree. Because sure, we're a little more informed, but we're not Dan Bongino informed.
I will say though, in regards to Rumble and Dan Bongino and that whole company, props to them for. Oh, here is one thing I do want to talk about. Thanks for reminding me. Speaking of advertisers and whatnot, so news that really no one is talking about is the fact that Rumble stood up to one of the big advertising groups,
Yeah.
and basically said no. You know, if you guys don't want to do business with us, then take a hike. We're not going to be intimidated by you.
Right.
Now,
Right. To be clear, because I think you kind of like didn't fully explain it. The advertiser was asking Rumble to make concessions to them as a platform.
Fuck that.
And so Chris said, no way. And then he put it out publicly.
yeah,
That this is what you're required to agree to have this company advertising on your platform. And I think that that's great that I'm sure that the advertising group isn't happy about this, but I do think people need to see that, like, that is not conducive to free speech at all.
No, what the advertiser company tried to fucking do.
yeah, and now to be fair too, I understand that there are a lot of people who do not like Steven Crowder, and I guess this was specifically in regards to Steven Crowder. And look, I get
who cares where it got triggered from. Rumble as a company was told, this is the advertising that we are offering, and you need to do this, that, and the other thing for us to advertise. And Rumble said no. It doesn't matter who the creator was, I think, that initiated that conflict. I think that whatever you think about Steven Crowder, he's kind of irrelevant to the story.
Yeah, I would agree, and that was my whole point, because people brought that up to me while I was on vacation, and yeah, like I understand why people have criticism of Crowder, and I think that some of them are valid, and you know, but my point being is,
But if you hate Crowder, he's really not important to this story.
Yeah, and that's the overall point is. Crowder might be the face of it, sure, but he's not important to it.
No, in my mind, the face is the CEO, Chris Pavlovsky. I can't ever fucking pronounce his name. Pavlovsky. There we go. I'm so sorry. He's the main character. He's the main part of the story, because he's the one that stood up to them, and also that showed that this is what's being asked of us. So that's how I see it. You can hate Steven Crowder all you want. Hey, there's people out there that just hate Rumble for whatever reason. That's fine. But advertisers specifying, hey, you have to censor this kind of content. You can't allow that kind of content on your platform, or we won't advertise there. Well, hey, they're allowed to do that. But it's nice for me to know which ones do, because then I know what products to avoid.
And look, I'd rather have.
I agree.
I'd rather have a platform where even someone who I, despise, like Mersh, is allowed to,
We've never said that Mersh should be taken off of here or demonetized. We said he probably will get taken off of here or demonetized, and it will be his own fucking fault. But no, we would never support deplatforming someone.
Yeah,
the answer to speech we don't like is more motherfucking speech. You debate that shit.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, Mort, you're of my age. Change the channel. Don't ban the channel.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, that's been my mindset. So Rumble's given us quite a lot of,
and we all know I can't stand fucking DSP. I don't really want him off the air or YouTube, whatever. I just don't like his scamming his fucking fans.
Yeah. Well, so
at this point, is it even scamming? At this point, don't they deserve it?
At this point, I guess you can view it that way.
I definitely do. If you're giving DSP money, I don't care if you're like, I'm trolling. Yeah, you deserve what you fucking get. You deserve to get screwed. Same with Boogie, man. Anybody that gave Boogie money for that crypto scam, ha ha, fuck you.
Dumbass.
It's the money's gone already. How does that make you feel?
Well,
You probably spent it on a hooker. How does that make you feel?
so we have that news. Second big news, and this does kind of relate back to the election. Elon Musk hosted Trump on,
and it only took us an hour and 40 minutes to get to the biggest news story of the week, Sam.
Well,
nothing but professionalism here on the Whitfield Report, guys.
Well,
probably should have let off with that.
Well,
this is what no show prep gets us, Sam.
I know.
We'll still never do any.
Never.
I should have at least, I should have at least added. I should have at least copied you on maybe the bullet points that I had. That would have been helpful. But no. Elon Musk had Trump on X Spaces, and before you guys,
a few of you, like maybe one or two, maybe a billion have seen it.
And before people caught, oh well, Max, weren't you making fun of Elon for hosting DeSantis? Well, DeSantis did not get DDoSed.
There was 100,000 people for that one.
Yeah.
There was 78 million people when the Trump thing didn't work out the first time. And then they had to limit it, I think, to 8 million people during the live broadcast.
And I was one of them that was able to tune in.
Which I think, that kind of sucks. Other platforms could have done that. YouTube clearly could do that. So that is a little bit of a blemish on the Twitter space, but it's an understandable one considering the vast number of people trying to get into this. So I will give more shit if people want to say this is hypocritical. I'm going to give more shit to the DeSantis one because it was a much smaller audience and it was your announcing of your campaign entirely to the world.
Yeah. Well,
and the one thing I'll say, but I'm going to step in here, there, Sammy. And the one thing I will say, people are trying to call this an in-kind contribution to Donald Trump. Newsflash, fuckers! Elon has offered Kamala. She turned it down.
Anyone saying that's an idiot. Yeah, I get what you're saying. You're giving like a counter example. But the reality is, no, it's not an in-kind contribution because an interview with somebody isn't that. If that's the case, CNN owes quite a bit of fucking they should count their campaign contributions. MSNBC, all of the lefties who interview Kamala and not Trump should totally fucking I get what people say, the stupidest things sometimes. They don't know how any of this works.
Yeah,
right.
They hear a buzzword one time and then they repeat it. In-kind campaign contribution. I heard that from the Stormy Daniels thing. Yeah, that doesn't make it so. I can't see a way you could swing it as such.
Nor do I.
Even if he didn't offer Kamala, he doesn't have to do that. That's still not a campaign contribution. Giving somebody a platform. See, again, this is a leftist mentality. Giving somebody a platform is a payment to them.
Yeah.
That's why they believe so strongly in guilt by association, right? Because if you platform somebody, you're essentially paying them. That's the way they see it.
That's the way the left. That's the way the left sees it. By the way, you know, I am glad that you bring this up because people often like to say that, you know, that Rumble is exclusively a right-wing platform. But as you just brought up with the sandwich makers, Max, it's a non-political show. And
Right.
yet,
And so
putting
can I talk
putting
to that
aside
for a
our
moment?
network, it does pretty good numbers for a non-political show.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
please do.
the thing is why people have asked if it's not a political show, why Rumble? And the girls all even agreed, and here's why. I told them we were talking about YouTube, and they equally find replacement words and like true crime podcasts baffling, unalived, and all this silly stuff. And I was like, yeah, well, I don't know. We're on Rumble, and so you kind of just basically. I told them I don't think there's anything you ladies could say that is even going to raise an eyebrow on Rumble, but you have a hard time on YouTube if you try to speak openly. That's just how it is. And they've never experienced censorship. As a matter of fact, the girls are really talented and they work really hard, right? But I think that we would have a very hard time making the switch to YouTube now.
I agree 100%.
I think the problem with YouTube, just in general too, is there's too much oversaturation in every
category.
The other problem too, and this I do not mean anything against the sandwich makers personally, but as far as female-led podcasts on YouTube, what trends? They all want. YouTube seems to promote young 20-something single women.
Yeah.
Right? They're not interested in promoting women who are already married, you know, in their 30s.
Right, which, by the way, just to be clear, is one of the hooks of the show, is that it's 3 married women, as opposed, like, that was the idea from the very beginning, was like, there's probably some other, and it's proven to have been true, other married women who might find this interesting.
But YouTube's not even interested in pushing that demographic of women. For what reason?
YouTube's not interested in making independent content creators large anymore either. They're invested in keeping them small.
And now with Mr. Beast, nobody's going to get a goddamn chance.
Yeah, nobody's going to get a Mr. Beast push ever again. A Mr. Beast PewDiePie push, because they consider PewDiePie a bust because he said the N-word one time. Man, is Mr. Beast the biggest bust in YouTube history. Matter of fact, I think that it might actually harm YouTube enough to make alternative platforms viable. I
agree, 100,000%.
I hope it does. I hope it does actually, because people want. This is the other thing too, is like all these lefties. Yes, all these lefties like today were complaining. Oh, Elon Musk has a monopoly. To which I actually have to laugh at that. Ha ha ha. Because it is laughable and fucking.
It's not a monopoly, YouTube. Guys. Just because it's the site you want to be on doesn't make it a monopoly. It's kind of like in PC gaming, right? Is Steam a monopoly? Well, no. Is it the one everybody wants to use? Yes. But there's still the Epic Game Store and the Blizzard launcher and the EA app and all these other places for you to get games, GOG, right? So it's not a monopoly. But Steam's where people want to be. Twitter's X, whatever, is where people want to be.
I would argue that up until very recently with Rumble, YouTube was a monopoly and still largely is. Maybe not now, but if we're good,
Google definitely is. Whether it's YouTube is or not, that's because it's such a specific thing in a specific market, there would be a tough case to bring to court. That's why it's not been tried. That's why they haven't tried to pick up Google like they did with Microsoft or Ma Bell even. Google's way bigger than either of those at this point. In fact, we broke up Ma Bell. See, this is dating me because even though it happened before I was born, I'm still aware of it. The Ma Bell thing, that was the one phone company, okay? Because they laid all the lines. Did you know that, Sam? That there was only one phone company that laid all the lines in the early days, and they had the party lines and stuff. And then the federal government, they had a antitrust lawsuit, and they lost. And it was split up into Bell Communications, AT&T, Sprint, on and on, a bunch of phone companies. Ma Bell had way less power over communication in this country at its peak than Google does 10 years ago, let alone now. Google is way more of a monopoly than Ma Bell ever was. It's a monopoly on communication.
Surprise me. That doesn't surprise me in the least. So
me either. It's infuriating how people don't even realize, like, companies way smaller with way less power on this country have been broken up as monopolies. Look at Standard Oil. Look, there's a lot.
But yeah, getting back to Elon having Trump on, on X Spaces, 17 million people tried to watch last night, or on Monday night, and so.
And now it's again, up over a billion. A billion total views.
I saw meanwhile, I saw
that posted today. I don't know if you saw it, so I'm telling you that's what it's at.
Well, that's impressive. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Kamala on her rally couldn't get 1,000 views on her rally stream.
The rally, yes. I will say that the Zoom call, she got 10,000. So, I mean, she's drawing them crowds in. Trump only got what, 1 billion? Like, come on. It's not that big a difference.
Okay. Well, that further proves my point, though, that, like, the Trump campaign should be too big to rig is my new slogan from this point forward.
You completely coined on your own. No one's ever said it before.
I'm sure others have. So
I'm such a dick, Sam. I apologize. Go on. I just had to. Just had to call out how original and creative that was of you.
You know what? People have used "Make America Great Again" though too before Trump did.
That's right.
So
well, who uses "Take America Back"? Only me, because even Trump didn't use that one. Trump's like, I don't know, that might be a bit much. I'm like, nah, we taking it back, bitch.
I like it. Too big to rig though. That if Elon proved anything, it's that, like, look, even if you hate Trump, people are interested.
Oh yeah, dude. If a billion people watched, 500 million watched purely just to hate him. For sure. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that, like, half of the people that watched, or close to it, watched purely out of spite.
Yeah.
You know what I don't do? Watch Kamala's fucking rallies out of spite. Right? And it's just
I
not
don't-
worth my time.
I don't even think that people that watch her like. I don't even think that people that like support her really watch her though, because again, she has no policy points. This is why I keep trying to. This is why I keep
Well, that's
telling
why
people
she's not going out in public. That way she doesn't have to defend him. She learned a lot from Joe. That's how he became president. It's not like he was on the campaign trail. It's not like he had policies. He did one debate, the least amount of debates in a presidential election ever. We might get none this time. That'll be fun. Because the Biden one doesn't count. The Biden debate doesn't count. He wasn't the candidate. So we may have 0 debates this time. Isn't that just like always? You know, it's completely normal. Just like it takes a week to count the votes and they look funky and the results change. You know, it's just like that.
Yeah, just like we're now going to get
trust the experts,
down.
Sam. Trust the fucking experts, okay?
Well, look,
They told you it's a free and fair election, Sam. What more do you want from them?
The experts said I was supposed to be nonverbal and I was never supposed to roll over or do anything with my life.
Joke's on them. This motherfucker never shuts up now.
Here I am. I never shut up. I'm writing books.
Yeah.
I'm getting ripped. And by the way, it's past August, and I'm sure I have more muscle tone than Mersh, but that's not saying much because I'm pretty sure
I'm on that PT kick lately, huh? How's that been feeling?
Really damn good actually, especially considering that like I haven't been in PT for like the past week because I've been on vacation. Like there have been a couple areas where like I had to walk up like, you know, a few flights of stairs, like using handrails and whatnot, because some places weren't accessible. And so I have like a travel wheelchair, but like I couldn't. Anyway, it was a long story.
You can't go up the stairs with it.
Yeah, stairs are not as big of an enemy for at least me as you might think. I just have to walk up them.
Right.
So, but
and hopefully somebody carried the chair for you.
Yeah.
Because expecting you to do that, just walk up the stairs on the handrail, dragging a fucking wheelchair, probably wouldn't be ideal.
Oh yeah, especially
I can still see you doing it though.
Yeah. At that point, my back might give out. In which case, we've got a whole nother problem. But no, all in all, though, I think
you trying out of frustration though. Like, there's just nobody to carry the chair, and Sam gets impatient. I could see that.
Yeah.
Sam's like, I can make it.
Yeah.
I know, Sam, because I'm also a dude. And I would be like, all right, let's go.
But then have you ever had that moment where like 15 minutes in you're like, oh, this is
a terrible idea. Why did I think this was smart?
Yeah, you've had the moment. Well, and then sometimes you'll have the moment of like, I know that this was a horrible idea, but fuck it, we're doing it anyway. So
that's me most of the time. That's just my fucking weekend. It's a horrible idea. Why am I running? Why am I still running?
Yeah.
Why am I going to run more afterwards? I'm retarded, Sam.
Or here's one I heard. You did what? And you didn't hurt yourself? I don't know. That's
Sadly, I did
that's my
hurt
new
myself.
that's my new thing is I'm alive, aren't I? So
Yeah. I got those new shoes I showed off. I forgot to get the inserts. So now there's like the best way to describe it is like having broken glass on the inside of your heel.
ooh.
It's not fun. The doctor told me it's not actually like a problem and it won't do any damage. And a lot of times, then this is the part that a lot of people get like a little weirded out by. The proper solution to this problem is to go walk on it and deal with it, and then it'll feel better. It just means you're gonna have to walk with that glass in the back of your fucking ankle the whole time. But when you get home, it'll be like it's gone.
That doesn't surprise me too much actually. That's the solution.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, because it's a ligament nerve deal rather than like, so the nerves making it feel like it hurts a hell of a lot worse than it really does.
Yeah.
Sucks though. It sucks to walk around. It sucks because like I said, I'm injured, right? And so I know I need to recoup. I know I need to recover, obviously, right? And then I look outside and the sun is shining and it's so fucking nice. And I'm like, I should be out there doing road work. God damn it. And I'm like, if I do, it's going to hurt. So tomorrow I'm going to do that, whether it hurts or not.
Yeah, and you just want to walk because you're that much of a badass. Speaking of things that are badass, great transition there. The Dogs of War, pretty badass book.
Not having it on my desk, I must apologize. I think it's upstairs.
3 weeks in, and it's been miraculous. I'll tell you what else is pretty cool. I posted pictures of this, but while I was in Michigan, I was able to give my aunt and cousin copies of this and the Fourth Estate, which is over on my nightstand. Otherwise, I'd show that one as well. But it was also
Chat
cool
doesn't like that you were going to transition there, Sam. Sorry, go ahead. Because you said I'm going to transition. Chat said don't transition.
What are you going to transition into, Sam?
This next topic. Sorry, go ahead.
A badass author. I already am a badass author.
You're already that.
But
I believe he already stated he's transitioning into a tank.
Really,
A1 Abrams.
not only was able to give a copy of the Dogs of War to a few family members, I was also able to sign a few copies that people had brought with them.
That's
and boy, was that a surreal experience. And at my grandmother's memorial service, someone had put out like a table of things that Maxine's relatives had produced, kind of her legacy, and a few of my books were on that table. So that was very humbling.
Totally
well, I mean, you did. I know you dedicated at least one to her, right?
I dedicated the
Fourth Estate. Yeah,
I dedicated the Fourth Estate to her and my grandfather George.
Mm-hmm.
And And then this one I dedicated to my grandfather Bob, who, if you remember, he was the one who died the same week I got actually banned from YouTube. So
I do. Yeah. While eulogizing him, I can't possibly forget something
Yeah.
so insane.
Yeah,
It was such a great.
I actually.
It was such a great tribute too. Like you were in the midst of it, because I watched the whole thing because I was watching on Rumble, but you got banned in the middle of it on YouTube. It's just like, what the fuck? Of all the times to ban somebody, that was like the most sympathetic you could ever possibly have been on their platform, and they're like, "This is the moment."
Yeah, and to this day, I still use like, why'd you get banned from YouTube? Oh, because they, I guess they don't like you eulogizing, deceased relatives, which is something that, like, if you knew my grandfather, you would know that he would find that hilarious. Not that I got banned, but that I was using that as the reason.
Because it's the best reason we really have, right? Like, we have our suspicions, but we don't know. YouTube didn't tell us shit.
It's the that's the other thing is, like, if they gave us an explanation, that would be one thing, but they haven't. Still 2 years later, so
you're waiting with bated breath on that one. I'm sure they'll tell us any day now.
You know what? There's a better likelihood that I'll walk before they give us an answer.
There's a better likelihood that both Sam and I walked than fucking YouTube giving us an answer.
True that. But hey, I'm glad that you were able to be considered a part of her legacy, because you are, right? And we know she's very proud of you. We're all very proud that this third book has come out. It's been a hell of a year for all of us because of it. That's been a large part in ramping up promotion and everything else for me. And some of the amazing guests that it's brought on. Getting banned from YouTube, in the long term, set this trajectory of the show a lot better than it was on. So,
yeah.
I mean, the first couple, when we were just on YouTube, Sam, I remember 0 view counts.
Yeah.
We don't get those anymore.
Yeah, no, it really is. It really is amazing. And I mean, we've looked at going back on YouTube, and it really hasn't.
It's much more productive for us, in my humble opinion, to do clips like we have been on other platforms, but YouTube's not necessary for that anymore. Like we get so many clicks off of Twitter that it's a much more of a focus and priority. And yeah, we're streaming on Twitter right now. There's definitely been views on it. There always is. Actually, I got a lot of people when I've been streaming the Sandwich Makers just on my Twitter, right? And I've been getting a lot of views on there. So yeah, YouTube's just not really relevant to our plans per se. I've considered, because we can't just make a Sam channel, because that's ban evasion. We can. Certainly, Jesse from Pod Awful encourages that kind of thing, and I understand his perspective on that. But I've always been like, well, if you don't fucking want us here, we didn't want to be here.
Well, I do have a Sam Whitfield channel that already exists that is literally just my name. And I actually have posted a few episodes of like the interview shows on there. But I have to tell you and the folks that, like, I've checked the stats, and the views on here compared to just my YouTube channel are like 10 to 1.
Yeah.
on
And Spotify's close to similar, if not more.
yeah, using the same hashtags and everything. Oh, and thanks for reminding me. Because on Spotify, and this is platform wide now, you can add comments to
Nice.
episodes too. So, and people have actually
Yo,
commented.
If you're listening on Spotify right now, please leave a comment. Tell us what you think.
Well,
would love to hear
people
it.
actually have left comments.
Nice.
It's actually the episode that has gotten the most amount of comments. It has actually, maybe not too surprising, is the episode I did with Karina Harney. A lot of people want to know why didn't ask her about Vegas vacation, and the reason being is it's not because I forgot that she was in that. The reason being is I basically, as I've said before, I basically told her that, I just wanted her to tell her story and what she wanted to talk out. And so we did, and that didn't come up.
And it's not like that's a hardball question anyway, right? It's like, well, what was it like being on that movie? Well, it was very fun, and like I guarantee she's gonna have a pretty stock answer, no? Unless it was a horror experience for her, which I doubt.
Yeah, I would think that.
Yeah. So okay, guys, I get you wanted him to ask the question, but let's be real. What would the answer have probably been? Probably not as interesting as what you want it to be. But what was interesting to me was her telling her story. So,
Spotify comment. Who the fuck is this Mort guy?
Based? Mort is Mort. I don't know. He's Morpheus.
Yeah. Mort is not my clone, despite what some people think.
Mort is an older Sam.
Yeah, that's because Sam's the clone.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
That's how it would have to work. You would have to be the clone, not him.
Yeah.
Chat, your theories are all over the place, man. My favorite chat conspiracy theory was that me and Shmuley were taking over the show. It's especially funny now considering Shmuley's not the permanent third co-host anymore.
That's also funny. What
pro tip to the conspiracy guys? Shmuley was way too busy for that ever to have been possibly even a thought in his head.
My other favorite theory is that like you were somehow going to replace Apex, when the reality is that like Apex has been on like what 3 times, and no more than that. Like,
and has an open invitation.
Yeah,
he's in the group.
He's been on multiple times. I thought he was going to come on last week while I was on vacation, but I guess
he had some stuff, but he was in chat and stuff. He came by.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I did replace Apex. That was actually Apex's decision, guys. I know. That makes it a lot more boring. It's not as fun, but he needed some time. And if you've noticed, he's come back. He seems to feel a lot better about himself. If you were a fan, just know that this was very good for him. Not bad. Okay.
Yeah.
And we
straight
headed of the right team as anybody else here. So
yeah.
And he's more a part of this show than I am because he was here way longer than me. So yeah, we love Apex, and I do love the theory because it makes like me kind of a heel, and I'll feed off that. But like, yeah, guys, it's no. It's just no. Sorry, but I think those guys are gone anyway.
But yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of them.
There's no beef.
I wouldn't
between any of us.
Man, there's no beef.
I wouldn't
Except for
really
me
say
and
that they
fucking
were
Core.
fans
Let
of.
me tell you something about Core. No, I'm fucking around. I love Core. That's like my bro. That Sam.
What? No garlic brown sodomy?
Legitimately, like Core is probably my best friend in the whole world. So I'm just fucking around. That's why I could see. I felt like I could start a beef with him, but then I feel like people wouldn't know that.
Yeah, they wouldn't get it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
The man has been to my house. We're close.
Well, that's also like, Morpheus and I threatened to, beat each other up on a daily basis on
Hashtag
Twitter.
triple fight.
But that's because you guys are going to fight eventually.
Yeah, no.
And you know Max, you know what that fight's gonna be? It's gonna be me and Sam bear hugging each other until somebody gives up.
My money's on you then.
Yeah.
No offense, Sam. If it was boxing, I actually would favor you, Sam. But if it's a wrestling match, I favor Morpheus.
Yeah. Well, more and I will just hug each other to death. To death.
Yeah. Probably. That's what actually happens is you both try to bear hug each other and then you both die from exhaustion.
Yeah. I try and
oh man, I should have leaned in. I shouldn't have ruined my bid. I should have gone with this like big feud with me and Core, and then when we meet up, we could have a fake wrestling match. Damn. I ruin everything, Sam.
Could still happen.
Max and
I could be cutting promos on him for months. Oh man. I'm gonna have to talk to him. We're gonna have to plan this out. And if you saw this episode and you know the deal, you're gonna have to pretend you have no idea what is going on.
Well, our fans, they are pretty they do like to keep track of the lore and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but they also love a good bit.
But
this would be a great bit. Nobody would attack each other. Nobody would be as savage on each other as me and him. That's a fact, because we do that for fun. That's us on like a rant. Like us playing a video game is us insulting each other until the game's done. So
that is true.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, it's because he sucks at everything, especially video games. That's not true. He only sucks at video games, actually.
Do you guys?
No, I already lost because you know what his response to that would be? Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Anyway, anything else for either of you gentlemen, or shall we wrap
I really
this
wanted
up?
to rant about that PA thing, so I'm good.
So, one thing, the ladies, there's been consideration, at least from my wife's end, of doing another show, which would be more of a react type channel. I think we're gonna do that. So that should be something soon.
That'd be cool.
I might have another host that may be interested in joining us on Right to Offend. An old colleague of mine. But I'll talk to you about that off air.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we got 3 shows. I feel like we could easily expand to a 4th or a 5th. And okay, Sam. There's a few people that might care about this. Cringing over coffee.
Let's go.
It's basically done. Like, the thing about cringing over coffee, Sam, I can't do it if I'm not inspired. Right?
Right.
That's not a show that I can force. And there's a lot, and I know, people like, Max, you just like press play and fucking talk for a couple hours. No, the cringing over coffee, I put more show prep into that than anything I've ever done, almost every time. But it's not worth the payoff, man. It's just not, and it's associated now because of certain individuals whom shall remain Johnny Fox nameless. It's become a drama thing, right? And I never wanted that, and I don't want to talk about that guy anymore. I specifically said that in the last episode. I'm done with him. So I really, and like I could go back and look at Dave again, and there's a lot of good Dave stuff, but I actually just want to do something different. So to the loyal cringing over coffee people, it's been a hell of a run. I'm not saying it's never, but it's unlikely to come back. But I do have something in mind, which might start next week. And I'll reveal more about that closer towards it. That's all I wanted to say, Sam.
Ooh. Well, that ought to be.
There might be a right to offend reaction channel set up at some point. But what I'm talking about would be a totally different thing that I'm probably going to work on next week. So trying to expand to 5 shows, actually. That's kind of the idea.
Yeah, well, that ought to be interesting. I will say that if this new host who could be coming on is someone who some of you will know if you followed my show going back at least probably 12 years or more, you guys will know. So before Apex or Max, and this
Nice.
should be an interesting kind of a pre RTO, and someone from the next gen conservative days wants to come back into the fold, and
Nice.
boy,
That's cool.
is an interesting time to come back. So
I feel like
but
we're just at the center of like a magical little storm with what we're doing. It's working out so well. I mean, yeah, okay.
yeah,
We could get 1 million views and that'd be great. But man, we've seen such steady growth.
That's not what this is about.
Yeah. We've seen such steady growth from people that are engaged with the content, and like, you know, we ignore chat maybe too much, but yeah, it's Right to Offend has just been doing great this last year, and I kind of want to keep the momentum going forward.
absolutely. So, and with that in mind, folks, I think we'll sign off. It's been about 2 hours and 25 minutes, so about our usual time. Again, thanks to both you gentlemen and Maxine for filling in last week. It was a lot of fun listening back to the episode, and you know, it's rare that I listen to an episode of the Wiffle Report that I'm not on, but every time I do, it's an enjoyable experience. And
yeah, that's
and
my
both the
second one now,
episodes-
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah.
You and I.
And
were-
the last 2 episodes are available on Spotify podcasts in audio only format right now. I will try and upload the video versions this weekend, in addition to this one. So, you know, stay tuned for that. Again, comments are open on Spotify, and leave a rating and review over there if you are so inclined. Also, if
like the
you're
Whitfield
not yet
Report,
subscribed.
like it on Spotify. If you listen to the show, if you like the podcast itself on Spotify, it will send it right to your feed every time it's new.
Yes, please do. And also, please also subscribe to the podcast on Rumble if you're not yet subscribed. Or
Yeah, I actually want to talk about that, Sam. So there's a bit more to this. Obviously on YouTube, it's like, comment, subscribe. That's the thing, right? there is a bit of a problem with I guess it's not a problem for them, but it is a bit of a problem on our end. You see, what happens is a lot of people are watching on Rumble, but they don't create an account. So humbly, we ask that you would create an account and subscribe, because that helps us way more than you know. And one subscribe on here is worth a lot more on YouTube. So we ask humbly that maybe if you're liking the show, if you're watching it consistently on Rumble, we obviously have more viewers than we have chatters. We don't care if you sign up to chat. We don't care. I don't personally care if you ever log into that account again, but a like or a subscription to the channel really, really helps us. So that's my call to action, Sam. And I guess it's time to take us home, right?
Yep. So again, follow us on Rumble and Spotify. Thanks for tuning in, and tune in for the Sandwich Makers on Saturday.
Yes, sir.
And I'll have a guest hopefully on Monday. But until then, take care. God bless, and God save the straight nation. We'll see you on the next episode, folks.